I just had my 10x mentorship with Brandon Dawson. I'm Bria, and here are my 15 lessons learned on today's topic: succession planning, succession incentive, succession training. Lesson 1. Case. I've met with one of my employees, and she's actually looking to retire soon. And I would be completely lost if I lost her. And I don't know what the next steps are to actually bring somebody in to the train. Lesson 2. Answer. Brandon asks, how long did she tell you she's willing to work with you? Answer. So, that's kind of up in the air right now. She's in her late 50s. Her husband just retired, and they're both looking to do the same. Lesson 3. Brandon say, you notice how I want everybody to observe something. I'm a coach. I just gotta call it as it is, because I'm not always the softest around the edges. I just call it as it is, but notice I asked a direct question, and I got all these fluffy answers back. I don't know. Could be now, could be a day, could be 100 years. No one knows. Lesson 4. So, the quality of your questions will always determine the quality of your answers. If you need to ask like, what is the commitment? Is it 6 months? Is it a year? Because then the next question is, what incentives can I put in place to have you help me find someone with a great attitude and train them to do exactly what you do? Lesson 5. It's called succession training, succession planning, succession incentives. Lesson 6. You should know the general rule of what your employees do for you. Lesson 7. Any business owner that's got key people dependency, if she is hit by a boss yesterday, then you and your business is totally screwed. Lesson 8. None of you should have employees where you do not have job descriptions. You don't have standard operating procedures. They've helped you build, you know the roadmap, what they do every day, how they do it. Lesson 9. You guys need to work with your team to develop that job description. Lesson 10. Brandon says, go sit down with her and say, look, you know you're not going to work yourself out of a job. But what I would like to do is put together like a job description on how to manual. This stuff should have been in place. I'll do an extra incentive. You help me build this, and then we go find somebody that's got a great attitude, and you help train them in the business. Then I'll pay you an extra incentive if we can do it in the next 6 months or 12 months. And then she's not going to be at risk of her job because you tell her, you're an expert. I just need to backfill behind you and make sure there's enough time between now and whenever you make that decision. But I'm not getting rid of you. I just need to augment around you so that we can through osmosis and through training, hand off and teach someone to be an expert like you. And if I was to put an incentive plan together over the next 6 months to a year to have you help me do that, would you be willing to do it? Lesson 11. Don't kick the can until she's gone. Start the process now and get somebody in there. Lesson 12. Diffuse, because you know what the other thing is. If you can show her a lot of this, people say they want to retire until they find 30% more time on their hands, and they're like, I gotta go back to work. Lesson 13. If the business can afford to invest in a junior person to come in to support and work around her with an intentional training plan so that she has the option to maybe work less in the future, but she doesn't feel the pressure of having to be there. So you may get her for a long period of time, but less volume. Lesson 14. And if you're that key person dependent, you need to be orchestrating this now, not later. Lesson 15. If you've got somebody that you're key person dependent on, if you lose her, it's going to be disruptive to your business then. Lesson 16. Before you take anybody else's business on, you better learn how to run a business. So those are my lessons learned. I hope you learned something. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and you can also download a free section of my book, Apartment Prescription, How I Made from 0 to 50 Apartment Units in 7 years. If I can do it, I know you can do so much more. Take care and God bless.